All right, so yeah, y'all just saw I just posted a video that I made last night about the whole issues that AEW has, and tonight I was getting ready to post another video, but this time about WWE and about how bad SmackDown was getting and how much it's really starting to become an all-time low, and the fact that they received the lowest viewed episode of SmackDown ever last week, and just say that SmackDown at this point might be dead and they might have no chance of recovering. But then I saw tonight's episode of SmackDown and I was genuinely shocked by what I saw. Road Dogg may have actually cooked this time. And that is not a common thing to say because we all know when it comes to Road Dogg, he's done a terrible job when it comes to booking shows. We don't even need to say what he's done when Triple H was head of creative. Let's look at what Vince McMahon did. This man is the reason why Jinder Mahal became WWE champion. Why 2017 to 2019 SmackDown was literal dog shit. Why it was literally at that point unwatchable because of how bad it was. One of the leading segments, of course, was Kofi losing his title to Brock Lesnar in 7 seconds, Roman getting poured with dog food all over him, and just many of just terrible things that happened on SmackDown that generally just made me question why Road Dogg was even the head writer for this show. But he somehow may have delivered tonight, and I'll actually give him credit for it. Because Cody Rhodes started off the show getting ready for his match against Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel, and it wasn't a bad promo. It was a good way to hype up for the show. Then they had the Street Profits and Shinsuke Nakamura both get their theme songs back, which I'm glad both of them did. Because seriously, the Street Profits badly needed their theme song because their theme song was so much better. And Shinsuke, as much as I was somewhat enjoying the whole samurai aspect of what they want to try and do with him, it just didn't fully work for me. So I'm glad that they went back to their old roots and gave him his old theme song because it was truly badly needed. Because just hearing the crowd sing his song again in Australia, just masterpiece. I see that Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu are going to be competing next week on SmackDown, which I know a lot of people are going to say this should have been a crown jewel, but y'all already know how it is when it comes to WWE these days. 5 matches on a pay-per-view is all you're going to get. But hey, that's still a big match for SmackDown. And the beatdown segment, everything, that's fine. Nothing really negative to say about that. Shinsuke Nakamura, like I said earlier, got his old theme song back and he faced Sami Zayn for the US title, which that was a really good match, but then it got interrupted by the MFTs with Tama Tonga coming back. But not just that, bringing back his Gorilla of Destiny face paint, along with Tala Tonga, JC Mateo, oh my god, I hate saying those names, and Tonga Loa, all embracing the Gorilla of Destiny roots. And speaking of the whole thing with Gorilla of Destiny, they would interrupt the Wyatt Six after they retained their tag titles against the Street Profits and have a stare down with them, which I don't know how I feel about that, because, like, I'm not the biggest fan of most people that are in the MFTs. Like, Hikuleo, just say his actual name, he's not a good wrestler, and Tongaloa, same thing. I mean, sure, he has the whole meme where people just troll about him, but I still don't find him that good in the ring, and Jason Mateo is kind of boring, but still, I have to try and fully be invested for this. I'll just let it play out. But I will say, main event between Aleister Black and Damian Priest, solid last man standing match with a very shocking twist with Zelina Vega getting involved. And yeah, I know if you're one of the people who just know personal life, you obviously know that the two of them are married. But I did not expect them to actually pair them together as a group because they, majority of the time, never really do. Even when Aleister Black was feuding with Andrade down NXT, they never even acknowledged the fact that those two were married. So that was actually crazy. But yeah, he would also throw a fireball at Damian Priest, and that would lead to him getting the win. Which I'm going to say right now, Aleister Black is definitely winning me over again because I was kind of on the skeptical side for what his booking was when he came back. Because I felt like Triple H and many people that were on SmackDown didn't know what to do with him, but I feel like they've now put him in a good position where I feel like he's now one of the more overstars on SmackDown, which that's great. Hopefully gets a big major push because of that. Yeah, but overall, I would usually say SmackDown would be boring and absolute garbage, but I thought it was actually good. I really don't have really anything negative to say besides the whole MFT thing, which again, I'm gonna have to let that play out. I'm gonna have to try and see if I can actually trust the process, which speaking of how 2025 has been, I really don't, but I'll try, I guess, have my fingers crossed. But it's generally surprising because with how SmackDown has been heavily panned this year for just being a show that is critically dog shitted on every single week. And again, like I just said, had its lowest viewed episode, which is even lower than they were on FS1, because of course they didn't have the whole thing on USA Network or Fox because of sports and stuff. Which that's actually it's actually insane. Like it's actually crazy how bad SmackDown was starting to get, and to the point where people were saying that SmackDown at this point might be dead. But I'm starting to actually see positive reviews about the show tonight, and I felt like both Raw and SmackDown both delivered very well heading into Crown Jewel. Well, I would say tomorrow night but obviously it's gonna happen at 8 a.m. where I am. So, yeah, whatever. But yeah, does this mean that I still have to speak positive things for SmackDown every single time? Not entirely, because again, like how it is with any show, you can have one good week, but the next week can be a complete disaster. But let's just hope and pray that the whole thing that I saw a few days ago with the reports saying they're going to try and make some subtle changes will actually benefit SmackDown. And I'm hoping Road Dogg actually tries to cook up something good for the next few weeks, because if he doesn't, then he's still in the doghouse. He still will be in that doghouse until he actually cooks something good like he did tonight. But that's all I gotta say.